Chag Sameach to everyone watching at home, watching on computers, watching on iPads, on phones, whatever you may be watching on. I wish you a joyous end to our holiday of Pesach. It's sort of hard to believe that it's already over. It feels like it just began. And this is an important service. You know, one of the challenges in some ways is acknowledging the fact that, you know, especially with Sukkot and Pesach, which are these long holidays, to remember that the Yantif, the Chag, is at both ends. And so it's a helpful way of reminding us that really everything in between is a holy, sacred time. But in these moments, at the beginning and the end of the holiday, we're really meant to focus on what the holiday is about and why it's significant. And of course, as we know, I'm sure many of you at home are prepared for, that this service also includes our Yizkor service, our predetermined moments in our calendar in which we are told, in the midst of all of our celebration and our joy and our happiness, to also make sure that we are taking time to acknowledge the passing of those who we have lost, either recently or in years past, or perhaps many, many years past. And of course, this year, as we'll talk about a little bit later in the service, has the added element of the pandemic, and realizing that the sense of loss and sense of grief is beyond just our familial, just beyond our immediate connection. And in fact, we are in a collective period of grief. And so this period of somehow or another holding in our hearts and minds both joy and celebration and happiness for this last little bit of Pesach and this last little bit of the Chag, and yet at the same time the heaviness, again, that would be occurring this time of year normally, under normal circumstances, and all the more so at this time. So we'll do our best in our service to be in both of those places. And if you are following along at home, before we begin our service, just a reminder that those who are part of our community would have gotten an email from me with an online link to our Mishkan Tefillah prayer book, specifically the one that contains the festival service, which was left out last week by my mistake. So in that particular case, you just want to, at the very bottom of where that flipbook thing is, you'll see 3 lines with 3 dots next to them. That's your quick link to a table of contents. If you hit that button, you'll see the thing that says Festival Service. Click the Festival Service, and then you have to click at least probably 20 or 30 pages into that, because it begins with the evening service. We're looking for the morning. So just so that you give a few seconds while I'm singing, and they're going to get all of that in order and in place. I apologize for its sort of cumbersome nature, but it's certainly better than the option of its alternative, which is nothing. So again, we'll get back to the particulars in a moment, but let's start with a little nigun to wake ourselves up, and to wake up in particular our gratitude and our obligation to celebrate this morning with joy. Yalla lai lai, yalla lai lai, yalla lai lai, ay la 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 lai, yalla lai lai, yalla lai lai, yalla lai lai, ay la 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 lai, ay la la la, ay la 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 la, yalla la 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 la, ay la. Yalla la la, yalla la la la, yalla la la, yalla la la. Chag Sameach, everyone. Before we get started with our service, let's just take a moment for ourselves. We'd like to close our eyes and just to reflect for a few moments. We open our eyes, let's take a deep breath in, let a deep breath out, and we will begin our festival service this morning on page 414. Page 414, and if for some reason you can't access the festival service, 90% of what we're going to do this morning will be found in the regular Shabbat service for Shabbat morning. As best as you can, you'll try to follow along. But again, in our online prayer books as well as in here, you're looking for page 414 as we begin our service, as always, with thanks and with gratitude. Modeh ani lefanecha melech chai v'kayam. Modeh ani lefanecha melech chai v'kayam. Modeh ani lefanecha, modeh ani lefanecha. For thanks to you, Adonai, ever-living sovereign, that you have restored my soul to me in mercy. How great is your trust. Page 418, top of the page. Matovu ohalecha Yaakov mishkenotecha Yisrael. Matovu ohalecha Yaakov mishkenotecha Yisrael. Let's join together now as we turn to page 421 at the very top of the page in English, a blessing for our bodies. My God, I thank you for my life, body, and soul, for my name, my gender, my way of thinking and speaking. Help me to realize that I am something new, someone who never existed before, someone original and unique in the world. For if there had ever been someone like me, there would have been no need for me to exist. Baruch atah Adonai, rofeh kol basar umafli lasot. Okay, page 422, prayer for our souls. Elohai neshama shenatata bi tehor ahi. Elohai neshama shenatata bi tehor ahi. Elohai neshama shenatata bi tehorai. Elohai neshama shenatata bi tehorai. Elohai neshama shenatata bi tehorai. Please join with me in English at the bottom of page 422. My God, the soul you have given me is pure. You created it, you shaped it, you breathed it into me, and you protect it within me. For as long as my soul is within me, I offer thanks before you, Adonai, my God and God of my ancestors, source of all creation, sovereign of all souls. Praised are you, Adonai, in whose hand is every living soul and the breath of humankind. Baruch atah Adonai, asher bi'ado nefesh kol chai, veruach kol besar ish. We turn now to page 424 and we rise as we offer these blessings for daily miracles. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lasech bivina levchin min yom uvein laila. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam bokeach ivrim. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam matir asurim. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam zokef kefufim. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam rokah haaretz al hamayim. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamechid mitzadei gaver. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam malbish harumim. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hanoten layayef koach. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamavir sheina meinai u'tnuma me'af apayim. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam she'asani b'tzelem Elohim. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam she'asani ben chorin. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam she'asani Yisrael. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam ozer Yisrael b'gvura. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam oter Yisrael b'tifara. Please be seated. We turn to page 431 and we'll read together in English at the top of the page, the top reading, a blessing for the study of Torah. We seekers of God, how do we find you? In good deeds and in the study of Torah. In your search for us, you find us in the bending of the knee, in the rigor of study, in the honesty of commerce, through a good heart, through decency, in respect, true fellowship, companionship, and love. Through truth and peace, in the no that is really no, and the yes that is really yes. Baruch atah Adonai hamelamed Torah le'amo Yisrael. Turn now to page 432. Elu devarim she'ein lahem shiur, she'adam ochel pirotehem me'olam hazeh, והקרן קיימת לו לעולם הבא, ואלו הן כיבוד אב ואם וגמילות חסדים, והשכמת בית המדרש אחרית וערבית, והכנסת אורחים וביקור כהנים, והכנסת כלה לבית המת ועיון תפילה, והבאת שלום בין אדם לחברו, ותלמוד תורה כנגד כולם. Please rise at home if you are able as we move to page 438 for the opening blessing of Zukei de Zimra. Baruch she'amar v'haya ha'olam baruch hu. Baruch Oseh Bereshit, Baruch Omer V'Yosef, Baruch Gozer Umekayem, Baruch Merachem al Haaretz, Baruch Merachem al Habriot, Baruch Meshalem Sachar Tov Lireav, Baruch Alad V'Kayam Lanetzach, Baruch Bodeh Umatzil, Baruch Shemo, Bishvachot u'bizmirot negadelcha, u'nshabecha nefayach v'naskir shimcha v'namlichecha, Malkeinu Eloheinu, Yachid Chei Ha'olamim, Melech Meshubach u'mufor Deyad Shemo HaGadol, Baruch atah Adonai, Melech Mehulal Batishvachot. Okay, please be seated. And we're now on page 440. Normally we would read Psalm 92, which is a prayer for Shabbat. So in situations where we're not Shabbat, but it's Chag, we're on page 440, pulling from the 100th Psalm, and we're going to start the third line down in Hebrew, the same melody we used at the beginning of the service for our Nigun. Ivdu et Adonai v'simcha, Ivdu et Adonai v'simcha, Bo lefanav birnana, lefanav birnana. Ivdu et Adonai v'simcha, Ivdu et Adonai v'simcha, Bo lefanav birnana, lefanav birnana. Yalanai, 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 Yalai, lai, lai, lai. Yananai, 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 yananai. Ivdu et Adonai besimcha, ivdu et Adonai besimcha. Bo lefanav birnana, lefanav birnana. We're now on page 442, Ashrei, at the very top of the page. Ashrei, Yoshvei, Veitecha, Od Yehalelucha, Od Yehalelucha, Ashrei, Yoshvei, Veitecha, Od Yehalelucha, Od Yehalelucha, Selah, Shreyam, Shalom. V'anachnu nevarech Yam, me'ata v'yad olam, me'ata v'yad olam, me'ata v'yad olam, hallelujah, hallelujah. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Psalm 150, page 445. Hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. Hallelujah, 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 berkiauzo, hallelujah, bigurotav, hallelujah, kerohulo, hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Hallelujah, 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 beteka shofar, hallelujah, nebel bechinor, hallelujah, betofu machor, hallelujah, beminim vav. Hallelujah, 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 betziltelei shama, hallelujah, betziltelei trua, kol hanshama tehalleluya. Hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. Page 446. Nishma kol chai, tevarech et shimcha Adonai Eloheinu. Look at the bottom of the page. Now on the top of page 447. Ihilu finu maleh shira kayam Ushonehinu rina kamon galav Vesiftotenu shekemacheve rakiyam Veinenu meirot kashemesh Vechayareach Veyadenu frusot kenishrei shamayim Veragliot kayalot Ein anachnu maspikim lehodot lecha Adonai Eloheinu Ve'Elohei avotenu ve'imotenu levarech. Continue silently on to the next. We're on page 449, the second paragraph in Hebrew, down from the top of the page. Shochen ad marom vekadosh shemo v'atur hanenu tzadikim Adonai la yesharim nava befi yesharim Titalalu diretzim, Titbarachu vilshon chasidim, Titromamu bekerev kedoshim, Titkadashu makehalot, Rivevot amcha beit, Yisrael berina itpa'ar Hamalkeinu bechol dor Vador Yababai Yababai Bai 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 Yababai Yababai Bai Bai Yai Bai Bai Yababai Yababai Bai 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 Ay Yababai Yababai Bai. We rise if we're able at home, and on page 450 we conclude Zukei de Zimra with Yishtabach at the top of the page, and remain standing through the Chatzikah page 451 and the Baruch Hu on page 452. Yishtabach Shimcha Alad Malkeinu Ha'el HaMelech HaGadol B'Shamayim U'Ba'aretz Hilecha Na'e Adonai Eloheinu Elohei Avotenu Ve'imotenu Shiru Shmacha L'Vazimra U'Zu Memshala Netzach Gedula U'Gvura Tila V'Tiferet Kedusha U'Malchut Brachot Ve'Hodaot Me'ata Ve'ad Olam Baruch Ata Adonai El Melech Gadol B'Tishmachot El HaHodaot Adonai Niflaot Abocher V'Shirei Zimra Melech El Chei HaOlamim Yitkadal V'Yitkad Ve'almad Yivrach Yirutei Ve'amlich Malchutei V'chayechon V'yamechon U'chayei Dechol Beit Yisrael V'al Kariv V'Imeru Amen Yeh Shemei Rabbah Mevarach Le'alam Le'almei Amayam Yitbarach V'Yishtabach V'Yipar V'Yitrama V'Yitzeh V'Yitadar V'Yit'aleh V'Yit'alal Shemei Dekudsha Le'elam Min Kol Birchata V'Shirata Tushbechata V'Nechamata Damirat Me'almam V'Yimeru Amen Barechu et Adonai HaMevorach Baruch Adonai HaMevorach Le'olam be seated at home. Turn now to page 454. We'll begin by reading the English at the page and then the 3 lines in Hebrew just above. Praised are you, Adonai, our God, sovereign of the universe, creator of light and darkness, peace, and fashions all things. In mercy you illumine the world and those who live upon it. In your goodness you daily renew creation. How works, Adonai, in wisdom you form them all, filling the earth with your creatures. Be praised, Adonai, our God, for the excellent work of your hands, and for the lights you created. May they glorify you. Shine a new light upon Zion, that we all may swiftly merit its radiance. Praised are you, Adonai, creator of all heavenly lights. Or Chadash, Al Tzion Ta'ir. Or Chadash, Al Tzion Ta'ir. V'nizkechu lanu mehera le'oro. V'nizkechu lanu mehera le'oro. Yadadai da bim bim bam, yadadai da bim bam, yadadai da bim bim bam, yadadai da dai. Yadadai bim bam, yadadai da bim bam, yadadai da bim bim bam, yadadai da dai. Baruch atah Adonai, yotzer hameorot. We now turn to page 456. We'll begin by reading together at the top of the page in English and then the Hebrew at the bottom. How deeply you have loved us, Adonai our God, gracing us with surpassing compassion. On account of our forebears, whose trust led you to teach them the laws of life, be gracious to us, teaching us as well. O merciful one, have mercy on us, able to understand and discern, to heed, learn, and teach, and lovingly to observe, perform, and fulfill all that is in your Torah. V'ha'erneinu b'toratecha v'dabek limeinu mitzvotecha v'yachel levabeinu le'ahava u'l'yirah et shemecha ve'lo nebosh ve'lo nikalem ve'lo nikashel le'olam va'ed ki b'shem lecha Agadol v'adora batachnu Nagila v'nismecha v'yeshuatecha Ve'avienu l'shalom Me'arba kanfot haaretz Ve'tolichenu kayut Le'artzeinu Ki el poel yeshuot atau b'acharta Ve'keravtanu le'shimcha Agadol sela be'emet Lehodot lecha v'yichetcha b'yahava Baruch atah Adonai Abocher b'amo Yisrael b'yahava Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Now on page 460 at the top of the page. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levacha v'chol me'adecha Ve'hayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavcha hayom al levavecha ve'shinatam levanecha ve'dibarta bam ve'shiftecha u'lechtecha b'derech u'shofpecha u'kumecha u'kshartam leot al yadecha ve'hayu letotafot b'neinecha וכתבתם המזוזות ביתך ובשעריך Page 462. Vayomer Adonai el Moshe lemor, daber el bnei Yisrael v'amarta alehem, v'asu lahem tzitzit, al kanfei bigdeihem ledorotam v'nanu, al tzitzit, al kanaf betil techelet, v'haya lachem letzitzit, v'ritem oto, וזכרתם את כל מצוות אדוני ועשיתם אותם ולא תטורו אחרי לבבכם מאחרי עיניכם אשר אתם זונים אחריהם למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם לאלוהים אני אדוני אלוהיכם אדוני אלוהיכם אמת. Okay, we read on page 465. Normally we do responsively, but in this case I'll read, and actually if you'd like to join with me at home, to join with me. I, Adonai, have called you to righteousness and taken you by the hand and kept you. I have made you a covenant people, a light to the nations. We are Israel, witness to God's covenant with our people. This is the covenant I make with Israel. I will place my Torah in your midst and write it upon your hearts. I will be your God and you will be my people. We are Israel. Our Torah forbids the worship of race or nation, possessions or power. Hate evil and love what is good. Let justice well up as waters and righteousness as a mighty stream. We are Israel, schooled in the suffering of the oppressed. Violence shall no longer be heard in your land, desolation and destruction within your borders. All your children shall be taught of Adonai, and great shall be the peace of your children. We are Israel, O God, when we are witness to your will and messengers of your truth. You are my witnesses, says Adonai, I have chosen. Know me, therefore, and put your trust in me. We are Israel, O God, when we proclaim you the God of freedom, as did our ancestors on the shores of the sea. We're on the bottom of page 464. Tehilot le'el elyon baruch hu mevorach Moshe u'mei Yisrael lechanu shira besimcha rabba ve'amru chulam mi chamocha v'aylim Adonai mi chamocha nedar b'kodesh norati Yosef elei yabai yabai shira chadasha shibchu gem leshimcha svat hayam yachad kulam hodu vechu ve'ameru Adonai imloch le'olam va'ed Adonai imloch le'olam va'ed Tzur Yisrael kuma be'ezrat Yisrael ufidecha Yehuda be'Yisrael Go Aleinu Adonai Tzvaot Shemo Kedosh Yisrael Baruch Atah Adonai Gal Yisrael. We remain standing as we begin the Amidah together on page 468 and then continue silently. Just a reminder again that we've switched over to Morid Hatal, praying for dew. On the next page, on 472. And then during the Avodah prayer, a little bit later on, we'll add a little bit of extra stuff for Pesach, Ya'aleh V'Yavo, etc. So again, page 468, please go at your own pace, so when you're finished, you may be seated. Adonai sefatai tiftach ufi yagi tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. If you're doing your silent Amidah at home, please continue as you are and catch up to us when you can. For those that are finished, if you're able to, please rise or remain standing. We're on page 470 for a repetition of the Amidah. Baruch Adonai Eloheinu Elohei Avotinu v'Imotenu Elohei Abraham Elohei Yitzchak Elohei Yaakov Sarah Elohei Rivka Elohei Rachel Elohei Leah Ha'el HaGadol HaGibor v'Hanora El Elyon Sadim Tovim V'Koneh HaKol V'Zocher Chasdei Avot V'Imahot U'Mevih Geula Livnei B'neihem Leman Shemo V'Yahava Melech Ozer U'Moshiach U'Magen Baruch Atah Adonai Magen Abraham V'Ezrat Sarah Gibor Le'olam Adonai Mechayei Metim Atarav Le'Hoshia Morid Hatam Mechalkel B'Chesed Mechayei Metim B'Rachamim Rabim Samech Noflim Le'Rofech Olim U'Matir Asurim U'Mekayem Emunato Lishenei Afar Micha Mocha Bal Gevurot U'Mido Melach Melech Memit U'Mechayem U'Mahatzmiach Yeshua V'Ne'eman Ata L'Chayot Tim Baruch Ata Adonai Mechayei HaMeit. We're now on page 476. Nekadesh et Shimcha ba'olam Shemachishim אותו בשמי מרום ככתוב על יד נביאך וקרא זה אל זה ואמר קדוש 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 אדוני צבאות מלוך כל הארץ כבודו אדיר אדירנו אדוני אדוננו ממך בכל הארץ ברוך כבוד אדוני ממקומו אחד הוא אלוהינו הוא אבינו מלכנו הוא מושיענו והוא ישמיענו ברחמיו לכל חי אני אדוני אלוהינו Shamayich Tzion Ledor Vador. Hallelujah. Ledor Vador. Ledor Vador. Ledor Vador Nagid Kacha. Ledor Vador. Ledor Vador. Ledor Vador Nagod Lecha. ולנצח נצחים קדושתך נקדיש, קדושתך נקדיש, ושבחך אלוהינו מפינו לא ימוש, לעולם לעולם ועד. ברוך אתה אדוני האל הקדוש. Please be seated at home. We're now on page 478. Our Kedushat Hayom, our celebration of the day. Do the parts that are Shabbat related in parentheses, and we do add the parts that are related to the holiday of Pesach. Atav v'achartanu mikol ha'amim, tanu v'ratzita banu v'rom, tanu mikol ha'leshonot, v'kidashtanu v'mitzvotecha, v'keravtanu malkeinu la'avodatecha, v'shimcha ha'kadosh aleinu karata. ותיתן לנו אדוני אלוהינו באהבה, מועדים לשמחה, חגים וזמנים לששון, את יום חג המצות, מן חירותנו, מקראי קודש, זכר ליציאת מצרים. Page 480, אלוהינו ואלוהי אבותינו יעלה ויבוא ויזכר זיכרוננו, וזיכרון כל עמך בית ישראל לפניך, לטובה, לחן ולחסד ולרחמים, לחיים, לשלום, ביום חג המצות הזה, זוכרנו אדוני אלוהינו בו לטובה, אמן. ופוקדנו בו לברכה, amen. והושיענו בו לחיים, amen. This day, God, remember us for well-being, amen. This day, bless us with your nearness, amen. This day, help us to a fuller life, amen. Continue together on page 2 in English, at the bottom of the page. We ask you, God, to bestow upon us the blessing of your holy festivals, and may we so celebrate them as to be worthy of your blessing. Our God and God of our ancestors, make us holy with your mitzvot, and let your Torah be our way of life. May our rest on this day be pleasing in your sight. Satisfy us with your goodness, gladden us with your salvation, and purify our hearts to serve you in truth. Let your holy festivals remain our heritage and with joy, so that all Israel, hallowing your name, may have cause to rejoice. We praise you, Adonai, who sanctifies the house of Israel and the festivals. Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh Yisrael v'hazmanim. We're on page 408 in English. Find favor, Adonai, our God, with your people Israel, and accept their prayers in love. May the worship of your people Israel always be acceptable. God, who is near to all who call, turn lovingly to your servants, pour out your Spirit upon us. Let our eyes behold your loving return to Zion. Baruch atah Adonai, hamachazir shechinato le'Zion. We're now on page 400. Let's read together in English and the big block paragraph in the middle, and then the lines in English just below that. We acknowledge with thanks that you are Adonai, our God, and the God of our ancestors forever. You are the rock of our lives and the shield of our salvation in every generation. Let us thank you for our lives which are in your hand, for our souls which are in your care, for your miracles that we experience every day, and for your wondrous deeds and favors at every time of day, evening, morning, and noon. O good one whose mercies never end, O compassionate one whose kindness never fails, we forever put our hope in you. For all these things, O sovereign, let your name be forever praised and blessed. O God, our Redeemer and Helper, let all who live affirm you and praise your name in truth. Blessed are you, Adonai, your name is goodness, and you are worthy of thanksgiving. Baruch atah Adonai, hatov shimcha lecha na'eh lehodot. Amen. We're on page 490, Sim Shalom. Sim Shalom, Tova uvracha, chen v'hachesed v'rachamim aleh, ve'al kol Yisrael, ha'mecha, Barcheinu yotzreinu kulanu kechad, be'or panecha. Ki be'or panecha natata lanu, Adonai Eloheinu. Sim shalom, tova uvracha, chen v'chesed v'rachamim v'rachamim aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'al kol Yisrael amecha, Torat chaim ve'ahavat chesed, ve'ahavat chesed, u'tzedaka u'racha berachamim ve'chaim ve'shalom. Sim shalom, tova uvracha, chen v'chesed v'rachamim v'rachamim aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'al kol Yisrael amecha, ve'tov beinecha levarech, et amcha Yisrael, bechol it ubechol sham, bishlomecha. Sim shalom, tova uvracha, chen v'chesed v'rachamim v'rachamim aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'al kol Yisrael amecha. Baruch atah Adonai, hamevarech et amo Yisrael v'shalom. To page 493, we'll read together in English at the very top of the page. Create a pure heart within me. Up in your light, open me to your presence, flood me with your Holy Spirit. Then I will stand and sing out the power of your forgiveness. I will teach and lost will find their way home. Adonai, open up my lips and my mouth will declare your praise. Shalom imromav, hu yaseh shalom aleinu, ve'al Yisrael, ve'al kol yoshvei tevel, yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, yaseh shalom, Shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. So since it is Chag, a festival, we turn now to celebrate that fact with the addition of Hallel, songs of praise, which is on page 560. As is our tradition here, we always do the blessing up. The in-between I will leave to you at home to decide whether you would like to remain standing or be seated. We're on page 560, beginning of Hallel, and from there, if I announce a page, then you know to move to that page, and if not, it means it's simply on the next page and to keep following along. Okay? I'll be facing the earth. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivan likroa et ha'halel. Hallelujah, hallelujah, Adonai, hallelujah, et Shem Adonai, yehi Shem Adonai mevorach me'ata ve'ad olam. Mihi mizrach shemesh ad mevuo me'ulal Shem Adonai. Kol goyim Adonai al hashamayim kevodo. Mihi k'Adonai lavinu amakpihi lashamet. Amarot b'shamayim u'ba'aret. Mihi kimi me'afardal me'ashpot yarim evyon. Me'hoshivim nedivim im nedivei amo. Moshivi akeret habayit, nem habarim semecha, Hallelujah. Page 562. Betzeit Yisrael miMitzrayim, Bet Yaakov me'Avloez, Betzeit Yisrael miMitzrayim, Bet Yaakov me'Avloez. Hayta Yehuda lekodsho Israel Mashelotav Ayamra Vayas Hayardin Yisov Leachor He'arim Rakedu Chelim Yehot Kivnei Tzon Malechayam Kitanus Hayardin Tisov Leachor He'arim Tirkedu Chelim Yevot Kivnei Tzon Mili Adon Chuli Aretz Milifnei Elohai Yaakov Haochi Atzur Agamayim Chalash Lemainomayim. On page 563. Adonai Zecharanu Yivarech, Yivarech et Beit Yisrael, Yivarech et Beit Aham, Yivarech Yirei Adonai, Aketanim im Agdolim, Yosonai Aleichem, Aleichem ve'al Beneichem, Beruchim atem l'Adonai, Shamayim va'aretz, Shamayim, Shamayim l'Adonai, ve'aretz natan livnei Adam, lo ametim yehalleluya, ve'lo kol yordei duma, ve'al nevarech yam, me'ata v'yad olam, me'ata v'yad olam, Hallelujah. On page 564, I'll read together in English page. How can I repay Adonai for all God's bounties to me? I raise up the cup of deliverance and invoke the name of Adonai. I was to Adonai in the presence of all God's people. The death of God's faithful ones is grievous in Adonai's sight. Adonai, I am your servant, the son of your maidservant. You have undone the cords that bound me. I will sacrifice a thanks offering to you and invoke the name of Adonai. I will pay my vows to Adonai in the presence of all God's people, in the courts of the house of Adonai, in the midst of Yerushalayim. Hallelujah. Page 565. Hallelujah et Adonai kol im shaphu shaphu kol haumim ki gavar aleinu chasto ve'emet Adonai le'olam hallelujah hodu l'Adonai ki tov ki le'olam chasto Yom Ana Yisrael, Yom Ana Yisrael, Ki le'olam chasto, Yom Runa v'taharon, Ki le'olam chasto, Yom Runa Yirei Adonai, Yom Runa Yirei Adonai, Ki le'olam chasto, min ha'metzah karatia, ha'ima mechavya, min ha'metzah karatia, ha'anani b'avya, ha'anani b'mechavya, anani b'mechavya. Turn to page 566. 567, towards the bottom of the page, Pitchuli. Pitchuli Sharei Tzedek Avo Avodeam. Pitchuli Sharei Tzedek Avo Avodeam. Zeh Hashar L'Adonai Adikim Yavovo. Zeh Hashar L'Adonai Tzadikim Yavovo. Odecha Ki Anitanim V'Tehili Lishua. Odecha Ki Anitani V'Tehili Lishua. Even Masu Habonim Hayte Rosh Pinam. Even Masu Habonim Hayta LeRosh Pinam. Et Adonai Hayata Zot Hi Nifleot B'Yeinenu. Hayata Zot Hi Nifleot B'Yeinenu. Zeh Hayom Atzah Nagila Ben Ismechavo. Zeh Hayom Atzah Adonai Nagila Ben Ismechavo. Adonai Hoshiana. Adonai Hoshiana. Adonai Hatzlichana. Baruch haba b'shem Adonai, Baruch unchem mi beit Adonai, El Adonai v'yaher lanu, Yisrucha b'yamotim, Ad karnot hamizbeach, Eliata v'yodecha, Elohai aromemech, Odu l'Adonai ki tov, Ki le'olam chasdom. We conclude Hallel together on page 569. First we'll read the English and then we'll read the bracha in Hebrew. All your works shall praise you, Adonai our God, and your faithful ones, the righteous who do your will. And all your people, the house of Israel, thank you in joyous song, and bless, praise, glorify, exalt, extol, sanctify the sovereignty of your name. For it is good to give you thanks and to sing praises to your name, because throughout all time to eternity you are God. Adonai, sovereign, praised in song. Baruch atah Adonai, melech mehulal b'tachot. Okay, we remain standing as we turn to page 494. Later, Kriyat Torah, the festival Chag service of reading the Torah. And just a reminder that we add, before we take the Torah out, as repetition of the 13 attributes of God on page 496 at the top of the page. And my gratitude to Howard and Bob. We're able to fix our parochet here, at least I hope. And we'll open the parochet, page 494. Ein kamocha Elohim Adonai v'ein kema'asecha malchutcha malchut kol olamim u'memshaltecha bechol dor v'dor. Adonai melech, Adonai malach, Adonai imloch le'olam va'ed. Adonai oz le'lo yitein, Adonai yivarech et amo v'shalom. Amar achamim eitiv avirtzot. ציונך את ציון. תבנה חומות ירושלים, כי בך לבד בטחנו, מלך אל רב ונישא, אדון עולמים. כי מציון תצא תורה, כי מציון תצא תורה, ודבר אדוני מירושלים. ברוך שנתן תורה תורה, ברוך שנתן תורה תורה לעמו ישראל בקדושתו. אדוני אדוני אל רחום וחנון, ערך אפיים ורב חסד ואמת, נוצר חסד לאלפים, נושא עוון ופשע וחטאה ונקה. אדוני אדוני אל רחום וחנון, ערך אפיים ורב חסד ואמת, נוצר חסד לאלפים, נושא עוון ופשע וחטאה ונקה. אדוני אדוני אל רחום וחנון, ערך אפיים ורב חסד ואמת, נוצר חסד לאלפים, נושא עוון ופשע וחטאה ונקה. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Echad Eloheinu, Gadol Adonenu, Kadosh Shemo. Gadol Adonai Tiyu Neromema, Shemo Yachtav. Lecha Adonai Hagedula, Ve'hagevura, Ve'hatiferet, Ve'anetzach lehavod. Ki chol b'shamayim u'ba'aretz, Ki chol b'shamayim u'ba'aretz. Lecha Adonai hamamlacha, ve'hamitnaseh lechol erosh. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu ve'ishtachavu le'ahar kodsho. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu ve'ishtachavu le'ahar kodsho. Please be seated at home. So Chag Sameach, everyone. Our reading today, we're somewhat unusual in the Reform world in that we, at least in most cases, observe 2 days of Yontif. So in the Reform world, Pesach would have ended actually yesterday evening. In our case, will end at sundown this evening. And so the reading for today is one that is actually not normally heard in most Reform congregations, but in ours, long-standing practice. Our reading this morning will come from towards the end of the Torah to the book of Deuteronomy, from Parshat Re'eh. So if you're following along at home, and you have the Women's Torah commentary, our reading will begin with the first verse of chapter 16 on the bottom of page 1131. Again, Women's Torah Commentary, page 1131, all the way towards the bottom of the page, beginning of chapter 16. And if you're following in the Plowed Chumash, we are on page 1272. Again, 1272 for Plowed, 1131 for the Women's. And if you're following along at home, again, you're looking for Parshat Re'eh, chapter 16, and we're going to read the first 12 verses of that chapter. So, not to give too long of a drush this morning, but something that really struck me as quite powerful, especially right now. So, as you can imagine, the readings for holidays, sometimes they're sort of thematic. They pick from parts of the Torah that speak to the theme of the holiday. Some cases they are specific in that they are reading about the actual event that is taking place. In the case of the Exodus, right earlier in this week in Pesach, when we were reading about the actual moments of the Exodus, in particular the last plague. But at the end of the holiday, what we are actually getting here is a description of several of the holidays that come in the book of Deuteronomy. So we're focused really on not just Pesach, but actually all Shalosh Regalim, all of the three holidays that are called Shalosh Regalim because they involved historically the going up by leg, regel, right, by walking oneself to Jerusalem, walking up the steps of the temple to offer the appropriate sacrifices for the holiday. So in each of these holidays, there are certain specific aspects of them, right? Sukkot is not the same as Pesach, which is not the same as Shavuot, and yet at the same time, there are certain through lines through all of them. One of the overriding concepts of all three, but where we get some certain emphasis placed on Shavuot in this case, but let's apply them all generally, is the obligation to celebrate the holidays with joy and with gladness. So that one certainly is fairly self-evident as to its logic. But there is another piece to this which I think is particularly important. It comes from a little bit later on in the reading. If you'd like to follow along, let's say in verse 9. So now, in this case, we're done discussing Pesach, and we begin discussing the Omer, the counting of the Omer that carries us from Pesach to Shavuot. Okay, so we shall count off 7 weeks, and start to count the 7 weeks when the sickle is first put to the standing grain. You shall observe the festival of weeks, that is Shavuot, okay, for the eternal your God, offering your free will contribution according as the eternal your God has blessed you. Now here's where it's important. You shall rejoice before the eternal your God with your son and daughter, your male and female slaves. Again, remembering that in this time period it was still permissible, ironic as it may be, to have basically indentured servitude with all sorts of restrictions put in place and all sorts of things that differentiated slightly and not insignificantly from the slavery that was experienced in Egypt. Conversation for another time. Right, again, by continuing on, right, your male and your female slave, the family of the Levite in your communities, and the stranger, and the fatherless, and the widow in your midst, at the place where the eternal your God shall choose to establish the divine name. And it closes by reminding you, bear in mind that you were slaves in Egypt, and take care to obey these laws. So these last couple verses actually struck me as quite interesting and quite powerful. So the first part of it that I think is remarkable, and certainly we've discussed this in other places and other times, but it seems to take on a particular resonance for me right now, is this idea that the celebration is not restrictive. In fact, it's remarkably inclusive, and especially for the era and the time period in which it's being described here. The idea that the celebration of this holiday is not just about you, not just about your progeny and your blood relatives, right, but also about the people who are in your care, right, the people who are in your household. And not just the people who are in your household and your care, but the people in your community who are under your care and your consideration, right? Including the Levites, who basically, again, were entirely reliant on the offerings of the rest of the community because they could not possess land, they could not possess homes of their own. They were, in effect, reliant completely on, right? As is the widow, as is the orphan, as is the stranger, right? The fact of the matter is that this description of this holiday is really quite remarkable in the sense that it says, it's really for everyone. And that, in fact, it's not just that it is for everyone. In order to observe it faithfully, right, and to remember that the basis of this is what it felt like to be enslaved and to have no control over your life and your ability to celebrate and who you celebrated with, that in our tradition, we're told to make sure that everybody feels involved. Everybody feels connected. Everybody feels a part of the experience, right? From the wealthiest to the poorest, from the oldest to the youngest, from the most substantial and significant person in town to the one who perhaps we don't even know their name, to the people that have families to care for them and the people who don't, to have even the foreigner in our midst, the person who is not from amongst us, but to also bring them into the experience of celebrating. And I think certainly that these ideas we can just sort of take for granted, right? That's, of course that makes sense, right? Why would you only celebrate a little, group of people and not involve everybody? But the truth is that it's not self-evident. And that in fact, actually, in most cases in our lives, when we do celebrate something, we are actually restrictive about it, less than inclusive about it, right? We draw a line, legitimately in most cases, because we can't necessarily celebrate every single occasion with everybody in town. It's not realistic. And yet at the same time, right, our Torah tells us that in fact, when we have celebratory moments, it's important not to forget that there are people who, perhaps, maybe not inviting everybody, but there probably are some people who are on the periphery of our lives who would actually really benefit from and appreciate being invited into our experience. So where does this connect into our specific reality right now? So this is actually where I am really looking at this camera in wonderment at the technology that we have available, that you can in fact be watching me live as I am here in the temple, and I can be basically not seeing you, but feeling your presence through this remarkable gizmo that is, perched on our balcony at the moment. And what does that mean? What it means is that basically we are making sure, as best as we are able under the circumstances, that everybody is still included in the celebration of this Chag and in this festival, right? Even if the craziness of the world wasn't going on, even if there wasn't a pandemic keeping us forced at home, there are still going to be people who couldn't drive here for one reason or another, people who perhaps live either across the country or across the world, right? All sorts of barriers that are generally in place that prevent for the kind of celebration, the universal celebration, the inclusive celebration that's described in the Torah. And yet here we have, only really because, again, of Alan and John's generosity, but also their forethought to say that there's going to come a time, certainly they couldn't have predicted the circumstances that we're in now, but there's going to come a time in which people are going to feel left out. And that this technology is a way for making them to feel like no matter what the circumstances are in their life, in your life currently, that you can still feel connected to the celebration of this festival and this Chag. And I think in that way, in a way that none of us would have expected, we are actually keeping as close as we possibly can to this challenge, this obligation, this mitzvah that the Torah lays before us today, which is to make sure that whenever we are meant to celebrate, and in particular to celebrate the gift of God and divine nature in our lives, and of sacred time, that we make sure, we go out of our way to make sure that as many of our people, as many of our community can be connected and experiencing this together. So with that, I wish you a Chag Sameach wherever you may be, and again, my gratitude to Alan and John for making this even possible. So as I said, we're going to read the first 12 verses of chapter 16. Just a reminder of pages, again, Plav Chumash, page 1272, and Women's Torah Commentary, page 1131, 1131. And if you're following at home, chapter 16 of the book of Deuteronomy, beginning with the first verse. And as we have now made our regular custom, I will read the full Torah reading in one aliyah and offer the blessings myself. But certainly at home, if you'd like to join me in the blessings, that really would be wonderful. And as always, missing my standard Gabbai, Howard, to keep an eye on me and make sure that I'm doing things properly. Baruch Hu et Adonai HaBorach. Baruch Adonai HaBorach le'olam va'ed. Baruch ata Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch ata Adonai noten haTorah. Amen. Shamor et chodesh aviv ve'asihita Pesach l'Adonai Elohecha ki b'chodesh aviv hotziacha Adonai Elohecha mimitzrayim laila ve'zavachta Pesach l'Adonai Elohecha tzon u'bakar Bamakom Asher yivchar Adonai lashken shemo sham lo tochal alav chametz shivat yamim tochal alav matzot lechem onim ki v'chipazon yatzata me'eretz Mitzrayim למען תזכור את יום צאתך מארץ מצרים כל ימי חייך ולא ייראה לך שאור בכל גבולך 7 ימים ולא ילין מן הבשר אשר תזבח בערב ביום הראשון לבוקר לא תוכל לזבוח את הפסח באחד שעריך אשר אדוני אלוהיך נותן לך כי אם אל המקום אשר יבחר אדוני אלוהיך לשכן שמו שם תזבח את הפסח בערב כבוא השמש נועד צאתך ממצרים ובישלת בהאכלתה במקום אשר יבחר אדוני אלוהיך בו ופנית בבוקר והלכת לאוהלך 6 ימים תאכל מצות וביום השביעי עצרת לאדוני אלוהיך לא תעשה מלאכה 7 שבועות תספור לך מהחל חרמש בקמה תחל לספור 7 שבועות ועשית חג שבועות לאדוני אלוהיך משאת נדבת ידיך אשר תיתן כאשר יברכך אדוני אלוהיך ושמחת לפני אדוני אלוהיך אתה ובנך וביתך ועבדך ואמתך והלוי אשר בשעריך והגר והיתום והאלמנה אשר בקרבך במקום אשר יבחר אדוני אלוהיך לשכן שמו שם וזכרת כי עבד היית במצרים ושמרת ועשית את החוקים האלה. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם אשר נתן לנו תורת אמת וחיי עולם נטע בתוכנו ברוך אתה אדוני נותן התורה. Amen. Before we do Hagba and Galila, we'll now of course offer our Mishaberach, our prayer for healing, never more needed than right now. And again, as we've been doing the last few weeks, to add in our hearts and minds not just those who are in need of healing, but those who are working in various forms to heal those who are suffering. So we offer our Mishaberach on page 511. Mishaberach Avotenu ve'imotenu Avraham Yitzchak v'Yaakov Sarah Rivka Rachel v'Leah Hu yivarech et hacholim ha'elu. We begin by thinking of those in our community and connected to our community in need of healing. Joanne Sanborn, Jean Ben Sadun, Gloria Taradash, Andrea Klausner, Judy Stern, Miriam Cornfield, Roz Brody, Chana Ruth Batzara, Marlise Silverberg, Louis Davidson, Susan Spruce, Fagel Tzipora Bat Elisheva, Elisheva Bat Sarah, Richard Gambino, Michelle Sawicki, Idol Basha Bat Yitzchak, Tzvi Menachem Ben Chaim, Rivka Bat Devora, Amy and Gavin Tucker, Janice Kurz, David Dowling, Neil Elliott and Eileen Rosen, Israel Ben Yitzchak, Ben Sion Ben Moshe, Lorraine Danis, Buddy Kasaf, Shelley Newmark, David Kyle Klotman, Rivka Bat Rachel, Sarah Bat Chana, Moshe Eliezer Ben Sivia, Peretz Ben Yehuda, and Leah Mat Naomi. Of course, we add all the names of those that we wish we had names for who are suffering around the world, and we also give this opportunity for you at home to offer the names of those who you were thinking of this morning. So I'll pause for a moment, and please say all the names that you have to share. HaKadosh Baruch Hu Yimalei Rachamim Eleihem, L'Hachalimam U'L'Rapotam U'L'Chazikam, V'Yishlach Lehem Mehera Refuah, Refuah Shlema Min HaShamayim, Refuat HaNefesh, Refuat HaGuf, Hashtabag Alav Azman Kariv V'Nomar, Amen. May the one who blessed our ancestors, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, Sarah, Rebecca, Rachel, and Leah, bless and heal those who are suffering. May the Blessed Holy One be filled with compassion for their health to be restored and their strength to be revived. May God swiftly send them a complete renewal of body and spirit, and let us say together, Amen. El Narefana La, El Narefana La, El Narefana La, Refuah Shelema, El Narefana Lo, El Narefana Lo, El Narefana Lo, Refuah Shelema. And we'll lift and dress the Torah. Yamod HaMagbiah VeHaGolel. Vezot HaTorah Asher Sam Moshe Bifnei Bnei Yisrael Al Pi Adonai B'Yad Moshe. Torah, 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 Tziva Lanu Moshe. Torah, 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 Tziva Lanu Moshe. Torah, 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 Tziva Lanu Moshe. Torah, 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 Tziva Lanu Moshe. Torah, 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 Tziva Lanu Moshe. Okay, please be seated at home. So this morning's Haftorah, because again it's not generally read in Reform settings, won't be found in our Plav Chumash. So this is an opportunity for those who would like to follow along at home to find an online Chumash or pull one off the shelf. And our reading for this morning comes from the book of Isaiah. We're not going to read the full Haftarah. We're going to read all of chapter 11 and all of chapter 12. So again, Isaiah chapter 11 and chapter 12 will be this morning's Haftarah. And before we read, we will offer the blessing before and then eventually after the Haftarah. The blessings are found in our prayer book on page 512. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar b'miim tovim v'ratza b'divrehem hanemarim be'emet. Baruch atah Adonai abocher b'torah u'Moshe avdo u'Yisrael amo b'nei ha'emet v'tzedek. Again, Isaiah chapter 11. But a shoot shall grow out of the stump of Jesse, a twig shall sprout from his stock. The Spirit of Adonai shall alight upon him, a spirit of wisdom and insight, a spirit of counsel and valor, a spirit of devotion and reverence for Adonai. He shall sense the truth by his reverence for Adonai. He shall not judge by what his eyes behold, nor decide by what his ears perceive. Thus he shall judge the poor with equity and decide with justice for the lowly of the land. He shall strike down a land with the rod of his mouth and slay the wicked with the breath of his lips. Justice shall be the girdle of his loins and faithfulness the girdle of his waist. The wolf shall dwell with the lamb, the leopard lie down with the kid, the calf, the beast of prey, and the fatling together. With a little boy to herd them, the cow and the bear shall graze, their young shall lie down together, and a lion, like the ox, shall eat straw. A babe shall play over a viper's hole, and an infant pass his hand over an adder's den. In all of my sacred mount, nothing evil or vile shall be done, for the land shall be filled with devotion to Adonai as water covers the sea. In that day, the stock of Jesse that has remained standing shall become a standard to peoples. Nations shall seek his counsel, and his abode shall be honored. In that day, Adonai will apply God's hand again to redeeming the other part of his people from Assyria, as also from Egypt, Pathros, Nubia, Elam, Shinar, Hamat, and the coastlands. He will hold up a signal to the nations and assemble the banished of Israel and gather the dispersed of Judah from the four corners of the earth. Then Ephraim's envy shall cease and Judah's harassment shall end. Ephraim shall not envy Judah, and Judah shall not harass Ephraim. They shall pounce on the back of Philistia to the west, and together plunder the peoples of the east. Edom and Moab shall be subject to them, and the children of Ammon shall obey them. Adonai will dry up the tongue of the Egyptian sea. God will raise God's hand over the Euphrates with the might of God's wind, and break it into 7 wadis, so that it can be trodden dry-shod. Thus there shall be a highway for the other part of God's people out of Assyria, such as there was for Israel when it left the land of Egypt. In that day you shall say, I give thanks to you, Adonai. Although you were wroth with me, your wrath has turned back and you comfort me. Behold, the God who gives me triumph. I am confident, unafraid. For Yah, Adonai, is my strength and might, and God has been my deliverance. Joyfully shall you draw water from the fountains of triumph, and you shall say on that day, Praise Adonai, praise God's name, make God's deeds known among the peoples, declare that God's name is exalted. Him, Adonai, for God has done gloriously. Let this be known in all the world. O shout for joy, you who dwell in Zion, for great in your midst is the Holy One of Israel. We're now back in our prayer books on page 513 as we offer the concluding blessing of the Haftorah reading. Again, page 513, ignoring the sections in parentheses for Shabbat. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, tzur kol haolamim, tzadik bechol hadorot, ha'el ha'ne'eman ha'omer ve'oseh, hamdaber u'mkayem, shekol devarav emet v'tzedek, al ha'torah ve'al ha'avodah ve'al ha'nemim ve'al yom chag ha'matzot hazeh, shenatata lanu Adonai Eloheinu, L'sason u'simcha, l'chavod u'tifaret, al ha'kol Adonai Eloheinu, anachnu modim lach, u'mevarchim otach, yiparach shimcha b'fi kol chai, tamid le'olam va'ed, baruch atah Adonai, mekadesh Yisrael ve'hazmanim. Amen. So before we conclude the Torah service, it is now our opportunity to observe the right and the responsibility of Yizkor, of remembrance. So I'll give a moment at home if there's anybody who traditionally would not be participating in Yizkor, to please take a moment to leave the space. And for those remaining, to just give us a moment of silent kavanah as we prepare ourselves. So, certainly this year's Yizkor, and I've been thinking about it for the last several weeks, anticipating this moment, was going to feel somehow different. Thank God that at least at this point, I have not had to officiate at a funeral that is directly related to the pandemic. But I have had to do a number of funerals, and I'm going to have to do one actually very soon. And of course, challenge of losing a loved one, even one that we had a tough relationship with, at any point is hard. At any point is challenging. But it's especially challenging right now because a number of the things we would normally do are not possible. We are not permitted to have a gathered funeral in an enclosed space like this. So any funeral that is done these days is done gravesite only, depending on the circumstances and how the person passed and of the particular cemetery and funeral director and rabbi. Even the family themselves may not even be allowed to leave the car to come to the gravesite. In most cases, a small number of people are able to come, but the vast majority of people who would otherwise be there are not able to. And it's a very tough thing, not just for the family, but for everyone who wants to pay their respects. And it goes so counter to our normal way of being when it comes to grief and loss, which is to be directly involved. That having to be at a distance is presenting all manner of spiritual challenges, of emotional challenges, certainly for the families themselves. And I think I can only speak for myself, but from observation from other rabbis sharing their concerns online, that all of us as clergy, not just rabbis, all clergy are really struggling with this element. Not to be able to hug and embrace a person who's just lost a loved one, not be able to shake a hand in condolence, not to be able to make a physical shiva call, not being able to have the proper kind of funeral in which eulogies are generally offered. All these restrictions make it extremely challenging. And yet at the same time, even with those challenges, we must observe these rites and these rituals as best as we are able. So before we begin Yizkor, I wanted to just share something that I found that helped to remind me of this sacred task, of this importance of this task in Judaism, that even when these restrictions are in place, even when we can't do things as we would normally do them, even when I have to lead this service by myself in this space, we must do it, and there is a reason why. So I pulled out this really remarkable book that's continued to give me gifts beyond. It's called The Treasury of Comfort, that was compiled by Rabbi Sidney Greenberg, who was a beloved family friend, amazing rabbi, and whose family is still like our family. And on top of it, it happens to be a copy that was owned by my grandfather, Alav Shalom, Rabbi Samuel Geffen. And when he passed, he gave obviously all of his books to my father, and my father has split up most of the books between himself and me and my brother and my sister. And so this book fell into my possession, and I go back to it all the time, especially because it contains within it, as you can probably see here, any number of bookmarks that my grandfather used, some of which were in fact eulogies that he delivered, or pieces of paper or other sacred objects that he used. And it's just, it has another element for me personally to be able to use it. But I wanted to just share this one reading, and it's only attributed to the Talmud here. It doesn't give a more specific designation of where, so I'll have to do a little bit of searching. But it teaches the following. The rabbis taught, in three things are deeds of love, which in Hebrew would be the word chesed, greater than charity, which in Hebrew would be the word tzedakah. Okay? Charity is done at the mere sacrifice of money. Deeds of love are performed with one's money and with one's person. Charity is only for the poor. Deeds of love are for the poor and the rich. Charity is only for the living, but deeds of love are for the living and for the dead. So our tradition holds this moment in which we remember, not just in the case of funerals, but in the case of Yizkor, that these moments are considered at the very highest of our aspirations as a people, at the very highest of our list of mitzvot, of obligations to God. And as the teaching from the Talmud ultimately shares with us, the reason for this is because these acts of chesed, these acts of loving kindness, are the true definition of giving everything that we have. And that giving that love and giving that connection doesn't cease when we lose the physical body of a loved one. because their soul continues to exist, and our obligation to remember them continues to exist. And our chesed, our sense of loving kindness to them, continues to exist. And as I remember in one of my earliest moments when I took over as the rabbi here, and before Rabbi Morris had left for Israel, and we were sitting in his office, and he was asking me sort of, what are the places where I could use. Now, the Almale Rachamim, the memorial prayer on page 582. El Male Rachamim, Shochen Bamrumim, Etzei Menucha Nechona, Tachat Kanfei HaShekhinah, במהלות עם קדושים וטהורים, כזוהר הרקיע בזהירים, לנשמת יקירינו שהלכו לעולמם, בגן עדן חתם, אהנה בעל הרחמים, יסתירם בסתר כנפיו, ויצרור ביצרור חיים ונשמתם, אדוני הוא נחלתם, ויענו שלום על משכבם, ונאמר Amen. Fully compassionate God on high, to our loved ones, eternity grant clear and certain rest with you, in the lofty heights of the sacred and pure, whose brightness shines like the very glow of heaven. Source of mercy, forever enfold them in the embrace of your wings, secure their souls in eternity. Adonai, they are yours, they will rest, and together we say, Amen. We conclude Yizkor on page 583, if you would please join with me at home. In the rising of the sun and in its going down, we remember them. In the blowing of the wind and in the chill of winter, we remember them. In the opening of buds and in the rebirth of spring, we remember them. In the blueness of the sky and in the warmth of summer, we remember them. In the rustling and the beauty of autumn, we remember them. In the beginning of the year and when it ends, we remember them. When we are weary in it, we remember them. When we are lost and sick at heart, we remember them. When we have joys we yearn, we remember them. So long as they live, we too shall live, for they are now a part of us, as we remember them. Amen. So we'll now turn back to page 116, as we offer first a prayer for our country and then a prayer for the state of Israel before we return the Torah to the Ark. If you please, on page 516. O guardian of life and liberty, may our nation always merit your protection. Teach us for what we have by sharing it with those who are in need. Keep our eyes open to the wonders of creation and alert to the care of the earth. May we never be lazy in the work of peace. May we honor those who have died in defense of our ideals. Grant our leaders wisdom and forbearance. May they govern with justice and compassion. Help us appreciate one another and to respect the many ways that we may serve you. May our homes be safe from affliction and strife, and our country be sound in body and spirit. And the prayer for the state of Israel, page 517. Avinu Shabashamayim, Tzur Yisrael v'Goalo. O Heavenly One, Protector and Redeemer of Israel, bless the state of Israel, which marks the dawning of hope for all who seek peace. Shield it beneath the wings of over it the canopy of your peace. Send your light and truth to all who lead and advise, guiding them with your good counsel. Establish peace in the land and fullness for all who dwell there. Amen. We remain standing as we turn to page 514 to return the Torah to the Ark, 114. Yehalelu et Shem Adonai, Yizkor Shemo levado, Hodo al eretz v'shamayim, vayarem keren le'amo, tehila lechol hasidav, livnei Yisrael. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Ki lekach torati lachem, Torati al tazoru. Etzayim hi lamachazikim pa, vetomcheha meush deracheha. Darchei Noam v'chol netivotah Shalom Hashimenu Adonai Elecha ben Hashuva Hadesh Hadeshenu Hadesh Yameinu. Actually, we're going to remain standing as we turn to page 586 at the top of the page. Aleinu l'shabeach. Aleinu l'shabeach l'adon hakol, hatzeit kedula le'otzer breshit, shelo asay haratzot, velo samanu k'mishmechot ha'adama, shelo sam chelkenu kahem, ve'aleinu kechol hamonam, v'anachnu korim, ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. ונאמר אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו Ushemo echad. And on the days of Yizkor, all of Israel remain standing as we turn to page 598 and recite the Mourner's Kaddish together. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei rabbah, be'alma divrach chirutei v'yamlich malchutei, b'chayichon u'v'yomechon u'v'chayei dechol beit Yisrael, Ba'agala v'imru amen. Yehei shemei rabba mevarach le'alam u'le'almei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitba'ar v'yitnaseh v'yitadar v'yit'aleh v'yitalal shemei dekudsha berichu. Le'elam min kol birchata v'shirata tush nechamata da'amiran be'alma v'imru amen. Yehei shalom rabba min shemaya v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru Oseh shalom b'mromav, hu yaseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru, amen. Zichronam livrach, one of their memories, be for a blessing. Please be seated at home. Chag Sameach, everyone. I guess I've said the last few times, even though you're not here with me, it feels like you're here with me, and I hope it feels like I'm with you wherever it is that you may be watching. And of course, looking forward to the days when we can come back together and be back together in person. But in the meanwhile, I think we're doing quite remarkably well under the circumstances, and I hope was a meaningful end of the Chag, of the festival of Pesach for you, and also for those remembering that our Yizkor service was an opportunity to remember your loved one with both sadness but also with joy and celebration of their life all these years after. We're going to conclude our service together, first with Yigdal on page 628, and then we'll do our Kiddush together as well. Again, page 628. Elohim chai ve'yishtabach nimtza b'yehenet el mitziuto echad ve'nyam keyechudo elam v'gam etzof le'achduto en lo demut haguf ve'eguf lo na'aroch elav kedushato kadmon l'chol davar asher nivra ben reshit lereshito ino Torah temet natan le'amoel al yad nevi'yo neman beito lo yachal Yifa'el velo ato le'olamim lezulato Sofer yodea setarenu Sof davar bekadmato Gomer liish chesed kemi falo Noten l'rasha kerishato Yishlach l'ketz yamin vedut olam Kol chai v'yesh yakir yivato Chaye olam nata betochenu Baruch adeh ad shem tihilato Chaye olam nata betochenu Baruch adeh ad shem tehilato. If you have some wine or some grape juice or something sweet at home, we'll turn to page 605 for our Kiddush. Again, if you're using the online version, you're looking for the section called Blessings for the Home and Synagogue, and then it will be a couple pages in, again, page 605. Ela moadei Adonai mikrei kodesh asher tikra'u otam b'moadam vayedaber Moshe Adonai el b'nei Yisrael. These are the appointed seasons of Adonai, the sacred days that you shall proclaim, and their appointed times, and most appointed seasons of Adonai to the people of Israel. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hafen. Amen. Chaim, just a reminder, Shabbat services tomorrow night at 6 o'clock, and Shabbat morning services 10 a.m. on Saturday morning. And a reminder for those who are members of who is let into what on the internet, please just contact me directly. My information is on the website. Just let me know who you are, where you come from, just to make sure you're not a robot or a troll, and I'll have information about how to sign in. So with that, I wish you all a Chag Sameach. I hope the technology worked as it's supposed to. I send my love to you and to your loved ones, and online tomorrow evening for Shabbat services. Chag Sameach.